Hello, I'm Janice and I hope you're all doing well. Today's video is going to be all about Filipino food here in Sydney. Now, I'm not too familiar with Filipino food myself, but I do have friends who are very familiar and they've given me a list of restaurants that they love to check out for this video, and they've also given me a list of dishes to try when I'm at each of these restaurants. There are a lot of restaurants on this list, so we're going to be driving quite a bit today. So without further ado, let's head to our first restaurant that's on this list. Our first stop takes us to a restaurant in Chatswood. Tucked away on Railway Street, away from Chatswood's main clusters of shops and restaurants, is PAMANA, the legacy of Filipino cooking. I have just arrived at a restaurant called PAMANA, and I've ordered 3 dishes, all of which comes recommended to me, and once it arrives, I'll show you exactly what they are. I've just been offered a drink to try. It's called a SAGO GULAMAN, which I was told is a very popular sweet drink in the Philippines. So this is quite sweet and also very refreshing. There is quite a bit of grass jelly in it, and there's also, it's kind of like SAGO, but it kind of reminds me of like really tiny tapioca pearls. And in terms of this drink, it's a little bit like brown sugar water. Okay, everything has just arrived, and the first thing that I'm having is something called a spicy SISIG. It has pork, it has chicken, it comes on a boiling hot plate. I accidentally touched it. It has an egg underneath, it has a bunch of various vegetables. It smells amazing. I was told to have this with rice, which is why I got a garlic rice, and you can see a bit of garlic, spring onions. It smells very garlicky, and I cannot wait to take this first bite. I've never had this before, so this is a first time for me. So in this particular dish, there is pork cheeks and also chicken liver, and you can also taste the spices and also the garlic as well. But the spices isn't sort of overwhelming, it just gives you a slight kick. And I can also see a lot of red onions, which I absolutely love. They also offer a slice of lemon on the side, and that citrusy flavor I think works really well. It has a lot of different textures. There's like the runny, creamy yolk, but at the same time you've also got that slight chewiness of the chicken livers and then the softness of the pork cheeks. But I imagine this dish to be perfect with rice, so I'm really glad I've got rice with this. This is actually amazing. If you do come to this restaurant, you have to give this a go and order rice with it. That garlic rice, amazing. The rice is fluffy and the smell of garlic is so fragrant. Next up, we have the Pancit LUGLOG, which is rice noodles, and then on top of it we have this luxurious shrimp sauce and also other savory toppings. It also comes with egg and some spring onions on top as well. It smells amazing. This is a dish that my friend recommended I try when I come here. I'm a fan of shrimp paste and even like the tiny shrimps, so I think I'll like this one a lot. This is really good. The taste of the tiny shrimp is very strong, and I think I can also taste some pork mince in there as well. There was pork mince and also chicharron, which is fried pork crackling, and for some reason I thought there was salted egg yolk in it as well, because the savory flavor of these noodles somehow reminded me of it. But this is really delicious. I don't think I've had anything like this before. It's like a dried noodle tossed in sauce. But this sauce is quite savory, and these rice noodles, they're quite thick in size, and they're also quite chewy as well. This is quite creamy, it's quite savory. You can definitely taste the shrimp. So if you don't like those tiny shrimp, you probably won't like this. But if you do, you'll love this. Last and definitely not least, we have chicken adobo, a popular Filipino dish wherein the cooking process involves marinating the meats in vinegar, soy sauce, garlic, and black peppercorns. So this chicken adobo smells very vinegary. It's been marinated in vinegar and also in soy sauce and then dried in garlic. I've also got my garlic rice to go with this chicken. It's very appetizing. Personally, I think that this is a dish that I would definitely eat with rice, because on its own it's quite vinegary and quite salty as well. Although the chicken isn't as tender as I hoped it would be, it's definitely very flavorful and it pairs very well with the garlic rice that we have. I thought we were going to stop at 3 dishes, but the owners very kindly offered for me to try one of their desserts. This is called a halo-halo, which is a very popular Filipino dessert. It translates to mix, and there's a whole bunch of different things that I think I'll be mixing together. There is ice cream, there is crushed ice, there is bananas, jellies, sweetened beans, ube as well. This is quite creamy from the ice cream, but it's also quite sweet from the condensed milk and also the jellies and also the sweetened beans as well. And we've got these tiny green crunchy bits, which I don't know if they taste like anything. They're just very crunchy, so they add a nice crunch to it. And of course, we've also got the ube, which I don't think I've given it a proper taste just yet. This one has got like a sweet, earthy taste. If you're into sweet, creamy things and you're looking for something refreshing during summer, you can't go wrong with this. All right, we're pretty much done here at this restaurant, but we're not done with this video yet. Let me take you to the next destination for this video. Next, we head to Newtown to a diner-style restaurant by the name of Sydney Cebu Lechon. Will MAHUSAY opened this Newtown joint in 2019, but Sydney Cebu Lechon was originally founded by his parents, Fred and Philly MAHUSAY, back in 1991.
We started back in 1991 as a catering sort of business.
Yeah.
We still are.
Okay.
We still strongly do the catering side of it.
Yeah.
And in 2019, February 2019, I decided to let's open up a restaurant so people can experience our food in smaller portions.
A lot of thought has been put into the decor of this eatery to make it feel like you've stepped into a street store in the Philippines. From the tables and chairs, to the paintings on the walls, to the material used for these signs, it's nostalgic, it's unassuming, and it's here to serve authentic Filipino food. And when you are here, you have to order their Cebu Lechon.
Our signature dish, specialty dish, the star dish, all of the above. And it's also the name of our restaurant. And Sydney Cebu Lechon, the name came about because I was raised and grew up in Sydney.
Yeah.
Cebu is where I was born. And lechon because it's the actual food.
It's charcoal roast pork made using Australian free-range pork. They use only the belly section, which is stuffed with bay leaves, lemongrass, garlic, and a bunch of spices. The entire process, from deboning to prepping to marinating to brining to roasting, takes well over 18 hours, and with that said, here's our very own lechon meal with rice. The way that they have presented this dish, it's on a piece of banana leaf. We've got some rice, we've got some pickles. There's also a little sauce dish with some soy vinaigrette and some red onions in it as well. So I think I'm gonna start with just having some lechon first, let you know how it tastes, and then go from there. These pieces of meat has a very sort of nice savoury taste to it. It's quite meaty. I think the word for it is umami. Like it's got a really good umami flavour. And whenever you pair it with a vinaigrette, it just kind of elevates it to a new level. I think it's because that vinegar flavour sort of cuts through the fat. And I'm a pretty big fan of vinegar anyway. So that combination it's amazing. They also have a pickle made from grated unripe papaya, which was quite refreshing. But before I continue to talk, I really do want to try one of their pieces of the pork crackling. These are like pork crackling chips. These pieces of meat pairs perfectly with rice. I don't think you can go wrong with that. But the highlight and the star of this dish is definitely the meats and also the pork crackling and also the vinaigrette sauce. They kind of all go hand in hand together. I was also told that they sell out quite quickly, so make sure to either order in advance or if you want to dine in, make sure you book online. As much as I would love to finish all these pieces of pork right now, I will leave some for my siblings. We are pretty much done with our dish here, but we're not done with this video. I have another restaurant scheduled on this list, so without further ado, let's go there right now. For our next spot, we head to Rudy Hill at a family-owned restaurant called Mama Law. This homey restaurant offers not only a variety of Filipino dishes and desserts, but also sells their own recipe of bread and cakes. Now, I've been tempted with so many different options, and honestly, if I had it my way, I would order everything on the menu. But because we have already tried a few of the different dishes at various different restaurants, here I'm going to be trying some things that they've recommended to me that we haven't tried yet in some of the other restaurants, and we're also going to be trying some desserts just in a bit. And the soup has just arrived. It is massive. So in addition to this gigantic bowl of soup that they've recommended to me, they also recommend their SISIG and their fish, and also their lechon, which actually has sold out today. Okay, so the drink that I've ordered is a calamansi juice, which is kind of like a lime juice. Ooh, that is so citrusy, but also sweet. That's incredibly refreshing. Okay, now we move on to the gigantic bowl of soup that's sitting in front of us. There is a knife just stabbed into that piece of meat in this soup, and it's beef bone marrow soup served with cabbage, corn, ginger, and onions. It smells very similar to the bone broth soups that my mum used to make at home quite a bit. I'm pretty sure I just drink it like how I would any Asian soups and get the meats and eat that with the rice. The beef flavor is extremely strong. You can taste a little bit of that fattiness. That piece of meat in the soup is massive. I already know I probably have to take this away. But here's my first bite of this meat. I'm surprised that even though it's been in the broth for so long, it's actually not too tough. Not everybody likes bone marrow, but I actually don't mind it at all. I like that it's quite soft. I like that it's quite fatty. It's like bone butter, for lack of a better word. The vegetables are so soft, and pretty much it tastes like, or it takes on the flavor of the soup that it's been in. But if you're coming here alone, I probably wouldn't order that gigantic bowl of soup because it is quite a big bowl just for one person. I'd order this if I were here with a group of people, and then you could also order some lechon, some pork skewers, garlic rice, SISIG, and some, you know, fried noodles as well. So yeah, like the soup is good, but do it as a group and not when you're alone. And now we have the pork skewer. It's served with a wedge of lemon and also a side of a soy vinaigrette with red onions, and I'm really excited to try because this looks amazing. Okay, so I'm just going to try this pork skewer as is, and then I'm going to dip it into the soy vinaigrette and then try it again. It's a little different to the barbecue sauces that I'm typically used to. It has like a hint of tartness and vinegariness to it, which I actually really like. Okay, this is the pork skewer with the barbecue sauce and with the soy vinaigrette. See, the barbecue sauce itself was already slightly vinegary, and when you dip it into that soy vinaigrette, I'm assuming it's soy vinaigrette, I didn't even ask, but it tasted like soy sauce plus some sort of vinegar. It makes the vinegar taste more pronounced, which I really like because it cuts through like the fat in the pork skewer. These pork skewers, it's got a bit of bite to it. It's not melt in your mouth, but they do have like a bit of fat in between, which makes it more juicy. It makes it a little bit more tender. But I do think that the barbecue sauce is really delicious, and I like it even more with the sauce that they've provided. Okay, so we're now moving on to desserts, and we've got two cakes. One is the ube macapuno cake, and the other is the sans regal cake. So this is a cake made with layers of buttercream, meringue, and also chopped cashews. It's very creamy from the buttercream, and then you've got that meringue texture sort of in between the layers of buttercream. It's got at least 2 layers of meringue, and it adds a different texture. There's like the really soft texture from the cream, and then there's a slightly chewy texture from the meringue, and then the crunch from the cashews. So this next one that we're going to be trying is like an ube chiffon cake. It's got a layer of cream on top and then some cream inside the cake as well. This one is a lot lighter than the cake we just had. It's more spongy, but you can still taste that ube in there. That cream is delicious as well. And we are done with Mama Law, but we're not done with this video just yet. Seeing as we are in Rooty Hill, I do want to make a pit stop. It's about an 8 minutes drive from here to Doonside because I really want to check out one of their bakeries there. Starlight Bakery is just steps away from Doonside train station, and I was told to expect the line and to make sure I get their pan de sal. This bakery has been selling baked goods for over 20 years, and though I came for the pan de sal, I ended up leaving with a bag full of a lot more. Okay, I've just come back from Starlight Bakery. There was a long line of people waiting to get their cakes and their pastries. I have been recommended to get their pan de sal. I got the bread warm, instead of the ones in the package. So my understanding is that a pan de sal is like a bread roll. It's made with flour, eggs, yeast, sugar, and salt. This is so incredibly soft to just rip apart. This is like a soft bread roll that's slightly sweet. This would be so good with butter. Having said that, I can eat this as is. Okay, on second thought, this is way too hard to film in my car, especially like with the donut, which has a lot of icing sugar, and I don't want that all over the car. So we're gonna head back home and continue that segment when we get there. Okay, and we are back home. So we've tried the pan de sal, which is something that you have to buy in a dozen. But I've also got a range of other stuff. So I've got Spanish bread, I've got this long donut stick, and I've got an ube and cheese pan de sal as well. So to my understanding, Spanish bread are bread rolls that are quite soft and then filled with this buttery paste on the inside and then sprinkled with breadcrumbs on top. The paste is definitely very soft, creamy, and sweet. It reminds me of a type of bread that I can get from Chinese bakeries. The next thing on this list was something that was recommended to me when I was standing in line at Starlight Bakery. It's like a long donut type thing, and it's got sugar sort of sprinkled on the outside. It smells like a donut and it tastes like a donut. If you like donuts, I think you can't really go wrong with this. Next up, we have something that's only available on the weekends. It's a little bit squished up now because it was in my car, but you know what? Let's just give it a taste. I could see the cheese, but I can't really taste the cheese. And the ube flavor wasn't as strong as, say, when it was in the cake. I do like the original ones though. And yeah, but then these breads, these pastries, they're pretty good. If you're near Doonside, definitely check out Starlight Bakery. And that is it for this video. If you're still watching, thank you so much for watching till the end. I post new videos every week, so check them out if you have time. I hope you have an amazing rest of the day, and I will see you in my next video. Bye! And I do like how these noodles. This is called a hello hello. Hello hello. Hello hello. Hello. Hello hello. Hello hello.